Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. And before we get into the technical analysis, I want to talk a little bit about Iran and some correlations. I know some of you are not believers at all that Bitcoin has anything to do with that right now. Just know that this is coming from someone who has been very skeptical of any Bitcoin correlation. There was 1 week in time. I've been watching Bitcoin almost daily for 2.5 years. And there was 1 week span where I noticed correlations with broader markets. And that did not last very long. So I have been dismissing correlations for 2.5 years. It's now been 5.5 years of me literally every day watching markets and watching correlations. It's what I do. It's one of my strengths, is noticing correlations and being able to trade in reaction to them. And I am absolutely seeing correlations to Bitcoin. And it's easy to dismiss if you're not staring at things, but I'm literally here on the 5-minute time frame staring at gold, the markets, and Bitcoin and watching the headlines hit. So where we left off yesterday, I had just missed an oversold bounce entry, and we then saw a headline where Iran had attacked a US base. As soon as that headline hit, we saw the bears show up in the markets. We saw gold break out, and it was right here. This is when the market hit the news. And then I just watched a ramp up of bull volume, and I said in a recent video, I've seen enough that I'm going to act the next time that we get a headline with Iran and escalations and broader markets react to it. So I did. I market bought in a position on Bitcoin and then scaled out into strength on this move. Just a little day trade. Again, the only thing I'm doing at these levels without daily consolidation is day trading because of how extended we are, but that trade worked out. Maybe I was lucky. We certainly need more of a sample size before we can be sure of things, but we got more sample size today. So what was a marking point for Bitcoin today to see weakness? So we had a little bit of choppy action. The 5-minute oversold bounces continued to be bought aggressively, or they had continued to be bought aggressively this morning. 5-minute oversold, $200 bounce. What happened right here? Well, at about 11:25, Trump comes on TV and talks about how there's now de-escalation with Iran. Pretty much it's tit for tat, or so that's the way that the US wants to view it. Sure, you bombed our base. Nobody died. That's your response. That's good. Let's not escalate this any further. And so the market instantly shot up to all-time highs in the S&P 500. Gold dumped, oil dumped, and Bitcoin dumped all at the same time. So that's absolutely a correlation in my opinion. And the volume tells us, okay, something's going on, and the price obviously reacting to that. So again, I am sold, and I will continue to monitor it, and I'll let you know if that correlation disappears. But for right now, that correlation is very real for me, and it can absolutely be utilized as a tool in our belt for entering and exiting trades. So looking at the bigger picture, we have a big old bearish reversal candlestick on the daily time frame. We have to break the low of today, tomorrow, to follow through with it, but it's certainly looking like we're going to get a volume climax with still 5 hours left in the trading day. The 4-hour chart is pulling back to exponential support. Still, you could call it an uptrend. We really had a 4-hour bull flag attempt that failed to get to higher highs and then dropped down. But I am at this point watching for hourly oversold conditions before I look for a bounce. Why? Because the 5-minute RSI hitting oversold is no longer getting our bounces. After a major bull move, it's the first 5-minute oversold usually gets a great bounce. Once you hit the 3rd, 4th, 5th, it starts to putter out in terms of its strength. The first 15-minute oversold conditions, you get a good bounce. We did bounce here, but it's not anything very notable. So now, and this is actually the second time that 15-minute has hit oversold, actually the third time. So now I'm on to hourly. When's the last time we saw an hourly oversold bounce? It hasn't happened since this breakout occurred. So I'm of the belief that the first hourly oversold bounce will be a solid one, and that's the next trade that I'm keeping an eye out for on Bitcoin. I will be patiently waiting, watching the RSI, and eventually I will put in a few scale-in orders to enter in hourly oversold conditions. That's that. Ethereum, topping out as well. Anything above 125.52 is a daily higher low. 4-hour uptrend has been lost. That's very notable. Hourly time frame, RSI kissed oversold, got right down to it, and that's the hourly oversold bounce right now. Keep in mind, Bitcoin does not have an hourly oversold bounce yet. Ethereum bears are going to be looking to potentially enter on an hourly lower high here, confident that our temporary top is in and daily consolidation is going to be underway. And of course, we're just going to be looking for daily higher lows to form on this consolidation. ETH BTC dumped down in the past 2 days to lower lows. Not a lot of bear follow through on those lower lows, but it's certainly keeping the bears in control. Weekly bear flag is confirmed on any bounce. We're just looking for lower highs. This is an overdue 4-hour oversold bounce. We're looking for a 4-hour lower high on ETH BTC, and it's back to square one for trying to change the longer term trends, and Bitcoin is remaining the strongest name. Again, checking back in on the Bitcoin dominance chart. In the last couple of days for Bitcoin has certainly been very significant on that bounce. And we actually broke to a higher high, and we're only just looking now back at the high of this entire move, which would confirm the potential monthly bull flag that we are keeping an eye on for the dominance chart. Still absolutely a monthly bull flag at this point. Litecoin. So Litecoin topping out, volume climax is likely. Anything above 38.74 is a daily higher low. 4-hour time frame, losing the uptrend, hourly oversold bounce trying to play out, just looking for a lower high to form, and we already hit oversold conditions for the first time on this move. LTC, BTC, high, low, pretty much a double top. We did break resistance, but hardly, and now we broke support. So a weekly bear flag here as well. Again, just confirming Bitcoin is the bull to be trading. Is if we're comparing, should I trade Ethereum or Bitcoin? For the most part, easy way is just trade Bitcoin, because that's where the trend is as far as strength of Bitcoin versus altcoins. XRP has pulled back significantly at this point. Daily consolidation clearly underway 1 day in advance, looking for the higher low to form. Hourly oversold conditions. Just got to those on the low of this candlestick. Multiple inside bars on any bounce. We're looking for an hourly lower high here as well. And we are in a clear 4-hour downtrend now. Lower highs and lower lows on the 4-hour chart. Binance topping out, looking for a daily higher low compared to 1298. Remember that the daily higher lows will be indicated by 4-hour trend changes back to the bulls. So that's something we're keeping an eye on as well. But if I want to be aggressive, if I scale into Bitcoin hourly oversold, I could potentially scale out half in small profit. Let's just go a hypothetical, and then we'll get back to Binance. So hypothetical is I scale into Bitcoin looking at hourly oversold conditions. Let's say I get 2 orders filled. First one gets filled down at, let's say 78.50 and then 77.50. So I have an average of 7,800. The oversold bounce takes us up to 79.50. So I'm now up $150 on my position. I exit half of that position and I put my stop loss under the low, knowing that worst case scenario, I will stop out with small green or break even. I can then hope that that hourly oversold bounce is going to mark our daily higher low and try and hold that position longer. Otherwise, I can just look to treat it as an oversold bounce day trade, scale out into strength, be done with it, back to a clean slate. Those are 2 different ways to approach it. One with the longer term mindset, looking for more reward, and one with shorter term, give me my money and see you next trade. Binance, 4-hour uptrend lost, hourly oversold bounce underway. It's a weak one at this point, just looking for a lower high. So most altcoins doing the same thing. Link did end up getting really nice follow through. I saw rumors about potential partnership with AMD, which is a stock, and that is in the semiconductor space. And that is worth looking into if you're interested in it. I don't have time to look into that rumor right now, but big bull move, just looking for a 4-hour higher low. Hourly, not anywhere near oversold, but let's look. First 5-minute oversold was after the big bull move. There's your first 5-minute oversold, 223 to 230. You're looking at a 3% bounce. And let's see what first 15-minute oversold conditions did. RSI touched oversold down at the low of this candle, 210 up to 220, 5% bounce. So again, the first ones after a major bull move. Now we're watching for potential hourly oversold conditions and looking for a 4-hour higher low. And with the size of this range right now, I would anticipate a 4-hour equilibrium will be the end result once we do find a temporary bottom. XTZ USDT, 12-hour time frame did change the trend. We were watching that little inverse head and shoulder setup. 140 is still a key resistance, and we have a double top there. So bulls need to break 140 now. It's looking like our weekly higher low is trying to be set, but we double topped at the high of the last 2 weeks. So we need to break 140 to be sure of that. 4-hour chart, just looking for a higher low right now. and need to see continuation over 140 to give the bulls that confidence on the longer term time frame. So that's where we stand in the crypto space as a whole. Hourly oversold bounce on watch, daily consolidation underway, continuing to monitor headlines, although the hype and euphoria, I guess euphoria is the wrong word, the hype around those headlines is dwindling a bit. But again, you better believe if there's any kind of shocking news to the market, which would be another attack from Iran on a base, if that were to happen, you better believe that the market is going to dump, gold is going to bull move up, and Bitcoin likely will follow. And that is because the anticipation will be that Trump would get really upset with that and likely need to respond. So we'll keep an eye on everything. We'll check back in soon. End of the video clip yesterday, I forgot that bathtub was in there at the end, but too late now. And now we're looking at some old road trip stuff. I'm out of content, but going to Mexico in a week, and that'll get some nice, fresh, new content. So recycling some content for now, reliving some road trip adventures. Do good things. We'll see you next time. Adventure time. We are headed to Vegas. This is Lake Mead, which is about a half hour outside of Vegas, I believe, which you certainly wouldn't expect just by looking at it. But a great spot to camp. I camped here and had a coyote experience where certainly I've heard coyotes off in the distance in the past, but man, when that sun went down and I'm out there by myself, and I swear there were 100 surrounding me, all doing their yipping and wailing that sounds like screaming, dying children. It was quite the experience. Certainly have never experienced anything like that before or since, but knowing that it was coyotes made me a little bit more comfortable. I certainly wasn't fearing them coming at me, but man, they are eerie. 2 days in a row, we got some eerie themes out there. So Lake Mead was pretty cool. Nice moon. And it's just a spot to hang out and cool off during the hot, arid day. But I was in Vegas, and I don't have any pictures of Vegas because I don't like Vegas at all. So I was visiting my friends. My buddy's there playing poker. I've been playing poker since high school. He and I played in college, and he was playing online full time. And he pretty much went poker, and I went technical analysis and stocks. And I tried to teach him when I was there, but he was more interested in poker. So we played together. And for those that are familiar with poker, my style, I do play some buy-in, but generally I would satellite in, $50 satellite to get into a $500 tournament and then hope to place in those tournaments. And the best part is, we're used to trading online or playing online, and you have to wait weeks or months to get your payouts, if you can even get them, if it's even, legal. And I have in the past, or someone I know in the past has paid 20% of my withdrawal from winning a tournament to someone in China to get the payout, transfer funds over to the US, and those are what we had to do to get our money. But here in Vegas, they legalized it in Nevada, so you could literally cash out and go same day to a casino and they would give you cash, which was unheard of. So we were playing for a while and having a good time and doing all right. And I hung out there for, like I said, a month. It was just a reset break, have a nice shower, have some good food, and have a bed to sleep in, and just explore around, because I could not, Las Vegas is pretty much, if you take everything wrong with humanity and you just put it in one, that's Las Vegas. It's a dirty, sad place. And you see all the glamour on TV and in the movies at the fancy places on the strip. But man, if you go to some of these smaller casinos and the poor souls that are stuck to those machines, it's very depressing. And if I didn't have spots like this to go to, I would not have lasted very long at all. I literally didn't go to the strip at night in Vegas once. I was there for a month, and I didn't go to the strip, and I have no regrets about that. That's just me personally. I'm not big for flashing lights and crazy stimulation and substance abuse and all that, but it was fun, kinda. This is Spring Mountain National Rec Area, another spot that's just right outside of Vegas. And I couldn't find a spot to camp that was flat, so I ended up sleeping on a hill. And of course, it was the first night I slept without my tent because I couldn't pitch it on a hill. And I slept without a tent all the time on my other road trip with my buddies. But the first time I sleep without a tent, this was months into the road trip, and of course it snows on me, but waking up, it was nice and magical. I pretty much just put myself against the base of a tree so I wouldn't roll down the hill. But still slept fine. Some awesome sunrises and sunsets out there. And I love it's almost like shopping for a house every night where you're walking around and saying, all right, I can camp anywhere in this area. Where's the best view? Where's the sun going to rise? Where's the sun going to set? Where's the best spot to camp? And setting up a home base. So from here now, my buddy and I, who I was staying with, we are going to road trip back. This is as far west as I went, and then heading back east and going through Zion. I think we go to Zion National Park next, and then loop around, head through the south, through Texas, back to the east coast. Wrapping up the road trip, didn't have a whole lot. Pretty much moved really fast on the way home versus the way out there. And that's that. We'll see where we end up with probably a couple more days on this road trip, maybe a couple more road trips after that. Short little picture series, and then I'm going to have to start doing some videos again and hopefully some spring planting. Got some garden planting parties going on tonight, so we're getting pumped for the spring, and I hope you are fantastic.